Well, it's 1:02. Let's get started.
Okay, let's do it.
Good
Oh,
afternoon, everyone. This is another installment of Lunch with an Artist, part of the Urban Ministries Artist Amplification Initiative. Thank you so much for joining us. And Lisa, I'd like to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
I scribe with the best of them. My pen flows with the ink skill of the greatest of pen women and pen men. Because I write with honest ink, I give others permission to say what they shudder to think. The words I mend together have the power to fix broken, be they printed upon the page or spoken. When my generation dies off and well after, my pen will hang high with pride from the rafter, and because I existed, while my pen is yet being to the rafters lifted, it will be said of me, Lisa Lee established an important era in literary history. Because I wrote, sentiments are decorated with words once hung up in throat. I will be the topic of curriculums. My pen will heavily influence what hereafter comes. Keep watch as it all unfolds. My mark in this world, italics and bolds, because I write, because I wrote. So once again, my name is Lisa Lee. I want to thank all of you all for sharing your lunchtime with me. I know for me, anything that has to do with mealtime is sacred. So I don't take lightly that you come to join me today. I want to thank Urban Ministries and Bithyah for doing this for the artists in the community. I could not be more grateful.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you so much. And thank you for starting us off with some spoken word and getting us revved up. We'd like to invite everyone, if you have any questions or comments for Lisa, this is a very interactive moment, as if we were having lunch together around a table. So if you have anything to say, if you would like to comment, we'd really welcome. Lisa would love to hear from you and answer any questions that you have. So Lisa, you describe yourself as an interrelated artist. Can you please
Interrelated media artist, yes.
Interrelated media artist. Thank you. Can you please let us know, what does that mean?
Oh, I don't know. No, I'm kidding. An interrelated media artist essentially is an artist who is proficient in a number of disciplines, and somehow those disciplines collide to make a greater artwork or to give an artwork more impact. It's another layer, and another way of telling the story.
Definitely.
No, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So we will see some of your work here. So may I start the slideshow and you can.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. All right, this brings us to your written word.
So what this is a book I've written, and it's entitled I Send You 7 Songs. And what it is a collection of love poems with a little surprise. And in order to see the surprise, you're going to have to go get it. So that's called a cliffhanger, and marketing all balled into one. That's interrelated media art.
Yes.
So they're just, so you have really quick reads in there, and you have stuff like, when you say you love me, my heart beats in ways that are mysterious. It makes my heart beat in mysterious ways. I get lighthearted and I get lightheaded, and for me, flight is not out of the realm of possibility. And so each poem somehow in it comes to, I send you 7 songs.
And Lisa, would it be safe to say that the book's theme is really love throughout?
It's love. It's the book's thing. So what I feel like this book does is, for those who are not in a love relationship, it can renew your hope in love and kind of stir you and remind you of what love feels like. And yes, like every couple should have this book, you know, in case things get a little stale, which sometimes they do. And it's just a book of appreciation for each
Wonderful.
other.
Yeah,
Hmm.
words are powerful. Everyone, after I zoom out of this shared screen, I will be plugging in the links to access the art that you see and to get in touch with Lisa. Okay, so let's
And this
see.
book is available on Amazon, and it's in 3 formats: audiobook, ebook, and paperback. Paperback is the one with the surprise.
This brings us to another form of artwork.
Mhm. These are keepsake gift cards, keepsake greeting cards, rather.
Definitely artwork in themselves. Lisa, did you make this video also?
I did make the video with my phone. Yeah. So
How many hours does it take to make one of these handcrafted cards, Lisa?
oh my gosh. Probably more time than what is reasonable. One can take a couple of days, 2, 3 days. The most time put in is conceptualizing them and matching up papers and that sort of thing, and layering the papers.
And do people reach out to you for custom orders for cards?
They do. Usually what they do is they tell me what their color scheme is, or I'll show them what I have in stock and they can choose from there. The ones you're looking at now, have had their debut this past summer on Circuit Ave on Martha's Vineyard in a store called Island Style Studio.
Wonderful.
So,
Well,
mhm.
it sounds like these are a joy to receive, but also to have on the mantle.
Right. And they look great in what do you call uh, those frames?
Shadow boxes?
Shadow box frame. You all thought I was voguing, huh? I was trying to conjure up the name of the frame.
Well, speaking of Vogue, what a segue. We're going into fashion now, folks. All right, Lisa, what do we see here?
This is what is called a leather bib. So it's leather, which I don't color the leather, but I select the color combinations. This is a breastplate in chocolate.
Really statement pieces.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
And what inspired you to make this wearable art?
Uh, things just kind of dawn on me. But one thing that I am drawn to, and there could be some connection, is when I go visit the Museum of Fine Arts, I look at the Egyptian funerary art, and that inspires me. And it's not until you asked me this question before um, that I began to tie the two together as
Yeah,
possible
inspiration.
cousins.
Now,
Yes.
now question, Lisa, how do you get the piece to form and to keep its form?
There's wire in there.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right. Wonderful. Do people ever, when they purchase this from you, do they ever send pictures of the functions that they wear them to? That'd be interesting.
The rings mostly. I have some rings. And again, you guys can go poke around on my portfolio page, and in there are pictures of people's hands with rings they purchased on there.
So these
So
are made of leather.
layers of leather. And there's also wire in there, so it keeps its form.
I was wondering how that works. Wow.
And what you're looking at here, the picture we saw before of the rings are more refined. That's the evolution. This whole thing is the evolution of the rings.
I
Uh,
see.
right.
These are
So
the earlier models, and then these are the more recent.
mhm. The earlier models, let me tell you, it was a funny thing. They were so huge, you could use them as napkin rings. So, you know,
Your
I,
prototype.
I oh well, I mean, people still bought them because you could also put them on a scarf, and they squeeze. You can squeeze them to fit. But I'm glad I discovered. I'm glad I kept. I'm glad they've evolved.
Oh,
Let's.
look at Candelaria. She's holding up your rings, Lisa.
Oh, I can't. Let me see. Hold on. Woo!
I feel left out. I don't have any leather rings. Okay.
You talk about celebrity endorsement. That's it right there. Thank you, Candelaria.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I see a few comments in the chat. Let me see if I can pull some up. Candelaria says, so beautiful. I need one in my life. I think she needs another one, Lisa.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. I see more from Dorothy Wright. Dorothy has a ring of Lisa's.
Oh, woo! Okay.
Wow, this is neat. So many areas of creativity. We have, okay, there's a question. Do you have inlaid elements, the oval pieces?
Yes, they're all it. Everything is layered and inlaid, and what I do in the middle is kind of push up the middle so that it takes on the similitude of a stone. So it's a bezeled stone is what it looks like, but it's all leather.
Right.
Mhm.
Wonderful. And there was a question, how do I buy? So I understand, Lisa, this is by contacting you. I put your email in the chat here to contact
Mhm.
Lisa Lee at artisan Lisa Lee of Boston at gmail.com.
Right. My website is being overhauled. So you can contact me there in the meantime for anything you see here or to ask me any questions.
Wonderful. And so for those of us who just joined, this is an interactive, collaborative lunch hour as if we were sitting around the table together. Oh, I see a hand up. Let's see. Ellen.
She's on mute.
Let's see. Yeah, Ellen, can you unmute?
If you go down to the bottom left-hand corner, there's a microphone icon. If you click that, we can hear you.
Let's see here. It's not working. It's not working, Ellen.
You can also type it in the chat.
Let's see here. Well, while we wait, if you are able to unmute while we're in the event, feel free, Ellen. You're welcome. All right. Let's see here. All right. Now we also have, if there are no questions right now, or Lisa, anything you'd like to add to what we've seen so far, we also will see some things that you're working on. But Lisa, I wanted to touch on your start in the arts and how you got, how you fostered this love of the different types of art mediums.
Well, I can attribute that to my growing up at the Elmer Lewis School of Fine Arts, where we were exposed to countless art forms. I mean, we had dance, we had projects in tie-dye, we had drumming, piano, you name it, we had it there. So I so I can't intellectually say the reason why I think and create in layers is because, but I suspect that that's it. That would be a very reasonable explanation as to why I think the way I do.
I love to hear that you had an early start in Alma Lewis School. That she was royalty in the art world in Roxbury. There's so many So many people who have just so many loved stories about coming through her School of Arts right here in Roxbury.
Right. And you talk about tough love and can't catch a break discipline. That's where you got that right there at the Elma Lewis School.
Wonderful. And there was a question in the chat. What was your earliest artistic medium?
I would probably have to say poetry. When I was a little girl, I used to make these books and I used to write like the cat chases the mouse and the mouse chases whatever you dropped on the floor and the whatever, like really basic, crazy, strange poetry I would not want you to see now. But yeah, I would say poetry. And again, the Elma Lewis School of Fine Arts, there they made sure we knew about Langston Hughes and all the greats in literature. So
Speaking of early starts, Lisa, this is so intriguing to me. Was that nurtured by the people around you? And you spoke about the school of school of arts, but also in your other circles. How did you go from tinkering around and writing words to really recognizing that that is a profession and an area that you really wanted to develop?
well, I feel like it's more a thing of following my current. I had an over 30-year rap career, fun fact. And so when I started rapping, it was because I wanted to start rapping. I wasn't trying to save the world. It's just that as I followed my passions and my current, then it just, I think when you do that, your light comes on and it draws people to you and it becomes a thing and it takes on a life of its own, which is kind of what that did.
Wow, that is wonderful. Well, speaking of spoken word, that is one of the audio examples that are in the next link that we'll share. Shall we look at what you have coming up, what projects you're exploring?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Everyone, again, feel free to jump in, ask a question. All right, Lisa, so this is your exploration and projects in progress 2023, and I'll put this link in the chat when we're done.
Okay, sounds good. So what these are laser cut boxes that they start out flat. Can you, Bithyah, yes, can you shake your cursor over that? That's how they begin. And then they turn into what you see flanking that.
Wow. And so the leopard print, how do you accomplish that?
It's all laser engraved and it takes an enormous amount of time to put all those spots. The more spots, the more markings you put on it, the longer it takes.
Wow. And then you've got some differently shaped boxes down here. What are these?
Right. Those are like the old bread boxes. Remember those when growing up, or those desks with the sliding top? Those are pencil boxes.
Hmm.
So also done on the laser machine. This one's a more advanced box in terms of constructing it.
Wow, and you customized. So we see here a portrait here on a box. So how did you accomplish that?
So I was invited to a friend who, Rob Stoll, that's Rob Stoll. Some of you all know him. He had a recent birthday and, I found out at the last minute that there was going to be a thing. So, so I engraved this. I took the image off of the little invitation that came via Facebook or however it came. And then I wrote something and put all this inside of the software and laser engraved it on the box.
Wow, that's a huge improvement on a commercially made birthday card for sure.
Right. And you can keep stuff in it.
I get a comment in the chat says, wonderful boxes, Lisa, very giftable. These could be given as keepsake awards.
I like that idea.
And Valerie says, wow, these are amazing and unique. Lucy says, wow. And Ellen said, Lisa, do you teach anywhere?
I do workshops. So that is another work in progress. I am a friend of mine and I are doing, we can come to you, to your events, or you can come to us. We have a place in Hyde Park where your girls' night or guys' night, or you guys can come and have your event there and do a lightweight art project. And so some of the art projects are collage, but collage with a purpose, you know, with like vision board type collage, greeting cards, these laser cut boxes. And they're all everything we're going to do when we come to you or when you come to us can also be purchased as a kit. And I'm working out all of the descriptions and the instructions and stuff for that now.
There's another question. What material are the laser cut pieces?
Wood. They're basswood.
Wonderful. Okay, going back to the exploration of projects, Lisa, I'm going to scroll down and here's one of the areas I'm kind of partial to.
Okay.
What are we about to experience here?
This building is a picture I took of a building in the South End. And it's also laser engraved on a hardy piece of watercolor paper. And so if you were to have this in your hand, you would be able to feel all the bumps on the dental molding across the top. And ideally, where you see words, I just place that there for the sake of this, but down here is kind of what I would like to see happen. I would like to see the words cut out right in the sky over the building. So
Wonderful.
I just have to do some more exploration to find out how to really master this and make it legible.
Beautiful.
And this would be more like gallery art. You know, the words might be all over the place around the building.
And heard. May I click play?
Yes, this piece goes with it. And this piece would be triggered. You could take your phone and not take a picture. You hold your camera over the QR code and it would lead you to the spoken word piece that accompanies this laser cut building. Now this old building sits under a fickle urban sky, sometimes foreboding and gray, sometimes wide and bright. Now that's soapstone. Soapstone is white, right? Oh wait, is it sandstone? Anyway, there have been generations who have called this land home. But city planning, urban renewal, redlining, and those with the money to buy tricked folks out and trickled on in, all part of an insidious plan to gentrify. Man, since rent control was lifted, the demographic here is almost completely shifted. Who are these who reside here? What do they like? What do they dislike? Do they commute on foot, by bus, by buggy, by bike? Do they prefer being indoors, or do they like to hike? I know their rent is high. Are they thriving or merely getting by? Who are these who reside in this Boston mid-rise? Are they full of life and excited in the morning to open their eyes? Or do they drag themselves out of bed with utter dread, bleeding and pleading for a swift demise? You know, these things one cannot simply surmise. Like, are they dull or are these people wise? Are they consumers of TikTok? Do they like rock or hip-hop? Are they good-natured folks who like a good belly laugh? They got jokes? Are they vegan or do they delight in bacon and eggs with broken yolks? Do they inhale deep when they partake of their toast? If and when they do they choke? How do they roll? Paperless or altogether drug-free? Are they holy, holier than thou, or boho hug tree? Are they of neighborly disposition? Are they kind folk or ugly? Who are they that reside in this gentrified Boston mid-rise that abides beneath these fickle city skies?
All right. How'd everybody like that? I see some applause.
Y'all gonna swell my head. Stop it.
Yeah, that's all right.
Is
Tight
that all
enough-
right?
Yeah, you got a tight enough cap on. It'll maintain.
I see some comments. Wow. And also like sip and paint or puff and paint. I've also seen people do planting parties. Oh, I think I read that comment a little late. I'm sorry, everybody. I was into the conversation, but yes. So Lisa, this brings me also to a question about events. So you talked about workshops. I see people have an interest in kind of trying to dabble in some of these art forms that might feel a little bit what's the word? Intimidating for those of us who haven't gotten into it. So can you tell us about the application to events, the spoken word, just all of it? What would you suggest?
You would email me and tell me about your event. Tell me, so because this is a work in progress, I'm ready to start. However, you'd have to ask me, we'd have to have a conversation at this point as to what projects are available and what you might be interested in. So again, artisan Lisa Lee of Boston at gmail.com. You can reach me there.
Yeah, because we hear about paint parties, right? Don't people do
Paint, people do paint, poetry and paint. I don't do paint. You know, I don't do paint.
Candelaria?
I put that comment in because it's the model. And so there are a number of them around the country, and I think it's a model of how people have their assemblages. And one of the people that was in the Creative Entrepreneur Fellowship that you and Bithyah were in has an art barn. And so she does a camp for kids, but she also does the sip and paint and the puff and paint parties. And so, Lisa, when we get offline, I can contact you with Robin, and you can find out, just she could tell you about sort of how she's cost things out. When I was in Charlotte, my daughter took me to a planting party. There's a plant shop there, and they, after hours, they have people come in and they plant herbs, or they plant, they give them the soil and the pots, and they do that. So as a model, that's really working. And the second thing is because, I'm old and pushy.
No.
Give me a date when your website will be up. Because when I saw the boxes, I've gotten a number of awards over the years, and I've been in committees where we were looking for awards, and too often you get a glass bowl that's sort of stock, and I think having something that you can actually use every day, like a box that would have an engraving. So I would love to be able to recommend to a few of the places that I know that give awards. I was able to recommend Darlene Smart to a couple of places because she's done some really incredible awards that are not cookie cutter. And so I think that the idea that it's useful, the idea that it can be customized, and I think that one of the ways you can do in terms of looking into market to an audience is just think of all the organizations, even if you just go in Roxbury, that have annual awards. Like, could you make some things that would just stock if they wanted to use those, and they would just be simply engraving the name of the organization and the recipient, and then your custom pieces would obviously cost a lot more. But I know it would be much nicer to have something that you could actually use on your desk,
Right.
as opposed to just something that
Takes
goes
up
with
space on your
the
desk.
glass bowls. Yeah, so that was my thought. So I want you to tell me shall we say by May your website will be up?
Okay.
Okay, everybody heard it, right?
Oh, we got 12 witnesses. Yes, we
Yeah,
can do
because
this.
websites don't have to be final. As I used to say in Creative Entrepreneur Fellowship, it's a work in progress. So the main thing is to have one so that people can see
Right.
what you have. So we all heard it. So we're gonna check back in.
Wonderful. I love that. Go ahead, Lisa.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I just love that idea of what Ken Lyer was saying, you know, things, gifts, experiences that fold into your life rather than like you have to graciously accept something that you're like, what am I going to do with this? You have
Right.
to take it out when the right people come around and put it in your attic for the rest of the year.
Right. I hope they don't see it in the secondhand store.
You know?
I was about to say that's where I've collected many of them to reuse them for other kinds of things. Everybody's award is in the secondhand store. So
Absolutely. Yes.
I heard a stand-up comic the other day talking about that, you know, getting, you know, bowling trophies with other people's names on it and sitting around your house. Didn't know you bowl. Yeah, never mind. Keep moving.
Or regifting to the wrong person. Oh,
Right.
wait, I believe I gave this to you.
You know? So these are definitely the cards, the wearable art. I mean, really very special, unusual things. I've never seen a leather ring before, actually, I don't think. Yeah. Any questions for everyone? And I'd also be interested to know where people are dialing in from today. So if anyone would like to share what city you're actually dialing in from, it'd be neat to learn.
Roxbury.
Woo, woo. Oh, sorry.
Anya, Georgia.
You're in Georgia.
Dorothy,
Okay.
where
Yes.
are you dialing from?
Conyers, Georgia.
California.
20 something miles outside of Atlanta.
Wow, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Who else?
I'm in Newton.
Okay, Newton, wonderful.
Dorchester, but the
Roxbury.
part of my soul is in St. Louis always, my
Oh.
hometown. Yeah.
St. Louis, Dorchester. Okay, in the house.
Dorchester.
Regina Dorchester. Wonderful. And let's see, Lucy, Roxbury, Linda. And some of us are sitting here at the Urban Ministry in Roxbury. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's see. I will put into the chat right now the link to find Lisa's book in Amazon. Feel free. Lisa, is there anything that we didn't cover that you really would like to share about?
Oh, yes, I'm working on a film. I'm working on a film entitled A King Unfolding. And in it, a council of elder kings rallies around a young king with some growing to do and answers some real life questions. You know, this goes beyond stay in school, kid, be respectful to your mama. How do I function? How do I thrive in an America that's hostile toward Black men? You know, how do I make my money grow? You know, how do I avoid a George Floyd type of fate? You know, those kinds of questions. And the elder kings are from various walks of life. And some are surprising. Some have been shot, stabbed. Some have been taken the avenue of education and youth work and so forth. So I just want to make sure I mention that. I am working at it. We've had a couple of filmings, and I do want to, there it is. There's an audio, and you can poke around here on my Behance page at your leisure if we don't have time to play some of it now. But if you scroll down, Bithyah, right there where right, that is an example, an audio example of when I got together with some mothers of Black sons.
This is very important topic for parents especially, And also, Lisa, would it be safe to say that it also is a way for an opportunity to walk in the footsteps, in the shoes of someone that perhaps we wouldn't, we all only know the shoes that we've walked in. And so to hear the concerns and the solutions that people would give their children.
Right. So I don't, what was the question?
Oh, I guess that another benefit of this film seems to be a real close look at those conversations. Sometimes I'll hear in the media where it says the talk, I know in the Black community, the talk used to mean one thing in the general media, and now the talk might be about when you get pulled over at a traffic stop. That's the talk.
Right.
So it
And-
sounds like a very current topic that really is on the minds of many people today.
And can I tell you how shocking it was that everybody I went to talk about the project, just to kind of to gauge their interest in terms of being involved in it, it felt like that was the pin that was thrust into the balloon of all that they wanted to talk about. Mm-hmm. So that helps me to know that I am totally onto something. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you want to, go ahead. What do you, I see you scrolling. What do you have in mind?
Oh, there was one more thing you had shared, but no, I'm not to rush you though. Go ahead. We want to finish it.
Well, I don't know if you want to play that or not, but
sure.
If not, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
You guys have time for that?
How can we? It's 8 minutes. Maybe we could show a portion and then just give people a taste.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We don't need to do the whole thing.
All right.
We empower our boys to grow in their kingship.
Lisa!
How are you?
Come in. We're about to have some girl time.
This wonderful meal. Thank you for being nourishment to our bodies. We thank you for this time of gathering with my sisters. We thank you for what you are about to do with this project. In Jesus' name.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. There's nothing like breaking bread with folks in a safe space.
Yeah.
And with esteemed women.
Tasty. You know what is the soup? Yellow split peas with yellow turkey and carrots.
Oh my goodness.
You know what lights my fire is when I see brothers dap up, especially when it's like a hearty dap. Yeah, that makes me so happy. And they probably think I'm such a nerd when I say, you know what, brother, I'd love to see, they're probably like, yeah, okay.
And you know, when I was on the vineyard this summer, there were so many young Black men down there with their natural hair, and their crowns, because they had shaved close on the side, and then they had this beautiful, and they were walking around together and having a good time. And then you see a lot of families, multi-generational families. You may see some of that here, but usually in the city, there's so much hustle and bustle. You're going to work, I'm coming from work, and doing this, but down there, everybody's chilling, and they're relaxing together and having experiences together. That really turns me on. That's one of the reasons I like to go down there. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's so awesome. All right. Well, I want to give people a chance to share any thoughts or ask any questions.
Please cut and paste my email address so that we can have communication outside of this presentation.
Napoleon, I see you unmuting.
Yes. This is more nourishing than any meal one might have taken between 1 o'clock and when we finish.
I appreciate that.
I simply want to thank you for being such an extraordinarily gifted aesthetic shift.
Well, you're not gonna make me cry on this video.
That's all right. Right.
Thank you.
But thank you.
Thank you.
On that note, also, I just want to also thank everyone for dialing in, because it's a lot more fun being an artist when you have people who appreciate what you're doing. Is that right, Lisa?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I also, this clip that we just heard about the film, one thing that stood out to me is that each of us, we represent ourselves, but we also stand for a lot more than just ourselves as an individual. So I thank you also, Lisa, for being an artist who's you're courageous enough to make your voice heard and to give voice to things that concern a lot of us. So thank you for your time investment in this area.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, any other thoughts from anyone who dialed in? I think this is one of the larger lunches with an artist that we've seen. I know we featured Candelaria, our first episode this season. That was also well attended. Any other thoughts? I'd love to hear more from someone I don't know very well. Dorothy, can I call you out? Any thoughts from today's event?
Yes, it is awe-inspiring. And when I get up from here, I will go in my workroom and do something creative.
Dorothy, what is your art form?
I do leather work, beadwork, sewing, woodwork, and I sell on Etsy. I sell bead weaving mats on Etsy. Yes, and that is my focus right now.
Can you put a link in the chat to your Etsy store?
Sure.
This is neat. We can also that'd be nice to be able to connect with one another. If anybody does want to be connected with, feel free to put your contact info also in the chat, and we'll keep connected.
Just appreciating it was really inspiring, and I love all the layers of different kinds of art that Lisa weaves together. It's really inspiring and moving. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Lisa,
yes.
Being a spoken word artist, where would we go around Boston to hear more of it, by the way? What's the scene like around here?
Well, I do make announcements on social media when I'm going to have an event. So that at this point is how I put that information out there. I have a radio appearance tomorrow on 98.1 FM. And that's between 7 and 9 tomorrow.
In the morning or at night?
In the evening.
7 p.m. to 9 p.m. 98.1 FM?
98.1 FM.
Okay.
Also, there's more spoken word on my Behance page. So if you go and click around, some of those include video with spoken word and a visual to go with it, videos to go with it.
Okay, Lisa, I'll put that link right now in the chat. There is Lisa's Behance page for exploring more of her work. All right, it's 1:44. We try to let people out on time. We thank you so much for investing your lunch hour with us.
Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing again your lunchtime with me.